the dollars, and in the pharmaceutical industry, it
For sure.
pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what really got me going. Was I felt like I could be a voice to teach people how to want to be healthy. And then when using a Vitamix machine, one time I saw a guy I was working with put carrots into an ice cream. And I saw, he was like, yeah, you can even eat your carrots as you're eating your dessert. And I saw some kids eating some ice cream with some carrots in it. And I'm like, oh my God, if you can hide carrots in something, I wonder how many things you can hide in a smoothie or a drink or a soup that would allow someone to eat the required vegetables for the whole day without them actually knowing. And so that's where how to eat your vegetables and not know it came from. So I actually got in trouble with Vitamix all the time because a lot of the times when I would go do these shows, even in like a Costco, I'm in the lion's den of terrible food, and I'm sitting there bashing everything in everybody's cart. And so they would give us this.
You're a cart basher.
Like gummy bear vitamins. What the hell? What are you doing? Eat your vegetables. And then, but they would give us this sheet with all the recipes on it, and that we were supposed to make throughout our demonstration. And so it would be like a juice, and that was like the healthiest thing. The next thing would be like an ice cream made with juice concentrate and sugar, and then there'd be their version of a frappuccino made with coffee mate and Hershey's chocolate. And so as I started to educate myself more and more, I started playing around with ingredients and taking some things out and adding some things in. So instead of using Hershey's chocolate, I put in cacao.
Right.
And instead of using coffee mate, and I learned that coffee mate was loaded with hydrogenated oils and it clogs your arteries. I'm like, Vitamix, how do you put this stuff in your deal? This is ridiculous. So I started using soy milk and almond milk, but that frappuccino became the veggie-chino. So I would take that coffee drink.
Oh my! Wait a minute, hold on. You created that?
Yes.
At Greens and Protein?
Yes.
That is my favorite drink.
He created all of those drinks that run Greens and Protein.
That is
and
my
the soup.
favorite drink every time I go there. I take out a few things, but it is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, so they would send in, Vitamix would send in a secret shopper, and they would, prior to that, they'd be like, Shane, quit putting all these vegetables in your drink. Like, people need to go home and be able to make this stuff. We'd give you a sheet to go off of, so stop putting in the spinach and the carrots. And I said, okay, I'll stop. Next thing you know, I'm putting more avocado, and this thing is just building on top.
Switched it up.
And they called me up and they go, so we sent in the shopper today, and not only did you not stop, but now you have a drink with like 12 raw vegetables in it that no one's going to be able to make. And that's what inspired me to do the book, the ebook, so people can take that home.
But can I interrupt you for just a second? What's really interesting about that story is that you were also, first of all, they never fired you.
Yeah.
So they must have known that something was happening there. And then weren't you didn't you get an award one year? You were like the #1 seller in all of North America for Vitamix?
Yeah, 2012.
See? So it's like,
so it was working.
It was working.
It was working.
Right.
That's why
So
they
it's
didn't
like,
And what really drove me to leave Vitamix were my customers and people coming up to me like, dude, what are you doing working for this company? You got your own thing going on, and you need to just branch off and do your own thing. And Stacey and I, at the time, we're both going through this at the exact same moment. We're like, man, you have your job over there at the win. And I have Vitamix. We just got to jump off the bridge and hope that we land okay safely on our feet. And we did. I didn't think I broke an Achilles tendon.
all right, I broke a rib. But, we're all right.
But you're here.
We're
successful.
But I saw that in this time, in this time and place in this world, that it's somebody needed. I felt like I had a big role to play. And shooting that TV show Local Hero, there's this one lady, Dr. Cynthia. We went out to on the border of Burma in Mae Sot in Thailand, and part of the TV show was bringing over prosthetic limbs and syringes and all these things that were donated by Doctors Without Borders and MedWish. And we went and trekked all the way through the jungle on these elephants, and finally got to this little makeshift hospital where she had this built on the border, or right on the border of Burma, where they would bring over refugees and bring them over to the hospital. And I saw, and when we finally met Dr. Cynthia, I'm like, look at this little beautiful old lady creating such an amazing change, and it really hit me big time, to where it was a big part of my trip, where I kept on reflecting on her, like, here I am making these movies, and sometimes it takes a year just to shoot it and get it done, and then you hope that you can get to a film festival, or I've had the opportunity to have it to go to Netflix, and one other movie had a worldwide theatrical release, but compared to everything else I did, like everything else was never seen the light of day, and I didn't really feel like I wanted to live a life of purpose, and that's what drives me, it keeps me excited about life, it keeps me passionate. And food, I just felt like a calling, like my gift of gab. I can move my mouth a million miles an hour, and if I could attach something worthwhile to those words, then I think I'd be using my gift a little bit better than just talking about myself in my film. So,
Wow.
Absolutely.
yeah.
So the connection for you, what's the connection like between health and spirituality?
Well, for me, it was big time. I mean, when I first got into health and wellness and started learning more about the importance of eating vegetables and whole foods, it drove me to doing a vegetarian diet. And I've been off and on playing around with different diets, from going from vegan to vegetarian to paleo. I mean, I'm just like trying to listen to my body, figuring out what's the right diet. But for a while, what ended up working for me that gave me the most attention was jumping on the vegan bandwagon, and that became a big part of my message. And so when I did that, it's when I would go to these health and wellness conventions and talk about how important it is to get meat out of your diet. And then as I was on that journey, it started making me think more about the animals and things that were happening, because I wasn't contributing that anymore. And it gave me another thing to talk about during my demonstrations, and that resonated with me big time. Of eating plants, not eating vegetables. People are going to these clinics, and the first thing they do is they take them off meat, they take them off fiber in general, and start pumping their body full of chlorophyll and coffee ground enzymes every hour on the hour. But for me, it became pretty apparent that meat was something that people would be better without. And throughout the course of me diving deeper into health and wellness, I started questioning maybe there isn't one diet for every single person. That I was hearing different stories from different people, and so some people were thriving on a vegan diet, and other people were having issues and talking about having vitamin deficiencies or bone deficiencies, and problems with what's it called? Anyway, I forgot. But issues in general.
Yeah.
And when I was about to have my baby, I went into a doctor, and her name is Dr. Burnett, and I asked her to give me a blood test. And we went through all my blood work, and she goes, "When was the last time you ate meat?" I said it was about maybe 3.5 years ago. And she goes, "Well, I can tell." She goes, "Because you're low in B12, you're low in iron, you're low in all these things." She goes, "You can either ramp up on all your supplements, or you can go get yourself a good grass-fed steak and watch all this stuff come up immediately." And I'm like, "Dude, there's no way in hell I'm gonna go get a grass-fed steak." I mean, I look at my Instagram. I mean, there's no way.
Right.
And right at the same time, my baby's mom went to her doctor, and he told her, because you've been a vegan for so long, you've gone through a lot of these vitamin reserves that you could use for development for her brain and development for a baby. So you should get on some supplements that you aren't getting from fruits and vegetables, that you can get from, that you could be getting from animal byproducts, but you can get the DHEAs and all that you can get in supplements. And I said, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, if our diet is so on point, how come this doctor is telling me to eat a grass-fed steak? Plant-based doctor is telling me to start taking supplements so we can have a healthy baby. And so I started diving in and researching, and I found this topic, which was really interesting, called third-generation vegan. And veganism is such a new age topic, like never in the history of mankind. I don't care, any tribes, anything you pick, there's no such thing as veganism.
Right.
This is all brand new. Even with the Aborigines, I mean, they would drink milk and ghee
Right.
So and that is liquid meat. You drink milk, you're basically getting all the vitamins that you would get from meat. But there are showing signs now when one vegan has a baby and that baby has a baby that deficiencies are popping up with birth defects from their growth to cognitive, disabilities that are popping up. And so then I realized, I was like, wait a minute, how responsible is it for me to be telling people this is the way that we've made a mistake, that basically was like, hey, I've even read books where they said the only reason why we started eating meat was because kings looked at it as a way of holding themselves up on a pedestal, and all the peasants would have to eat their fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains while they were getting to eat, whatever they want off these animals. But in reality, I mean, 8 billion years of evolution cannot be wrong. So then I really started going back from a spiritual standpoint. Where is it that where we went wrong? Is it that meat is destroying our environment? Is it meat that's destroying the rainforest? Is it meat that is causing these factory farms to slaughter these animals in such an inhumane way? Or is it human beings that are completely disconnected from their environment and the world and each other? And so we were just talking about Peru. We just got back from Peru, and it was really amazing too. I went to the Amazon jungle in Iquitos, and you go to these farms and you go to these little villages, and the chickens are running all over the place. They're on their bed, they're everywhere. The kids are chasing around. I saw this 2 baby calves, and the kids were playing fetch with these baby calves like you would a dog. And these animals were, they were running to get it, and they'd go running to get the ball from his mouth. It was so cute. But those kids knew that they were going to eat those animals at some point. Those animals were there for their food, but they had such a loving understanding of their relationship with these animals that it wasn't just like, hey, you're our food, so get the hell in there. They celebrated life, and they had an appreciation for life, and they treated them with love and respect. But in the end, it was exchanging they knew at some point that animal was going to feed their body at some point. And to me, that's really what I think, that's a deeper conversation when it comes to health and wellness and spirituality. It depends on what your viewpoints are. I mean, the fact is, we spend all this time trying not to eat animals and just eat plants, and then when we die in the end, what eats us? Plants. It's this beautiful cycle of life.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's so funny you say that, Nikki. Do you remember we were having lunch or dinner, and your husband, we were having a conversation about that, and I think he was the one that mentioned it. He was like, well, all these vegans are about killing the animals, but you're killing the plants to eat them as well. Yeah. And that was like, even like, I'm like,
that's his thing. It's like, a lot of vegans say, well, you didn't ask that animal if they're all about the animals. You didn't ask the animal if it was okay to take their life so that you can eat and flourish from it. He's like, well, you didn't ask the plant. The plant is living as well.
It's also living. It just doesn't look at you in the eyes the way an animal does, or you can play fetch with it, or so it is not. But that was just another way of looking at that, and realizing again, like, we're all living. It's all about living and exchanging
the cycle of life.
Oxygen and all that stuff. And so when you say that, that's just
and that's good. Well, let me just say this. That's a beautiful thing. It's interesting because there were a lot of things you shared that I didn't actually know about the whole story behind, becoming or being vegan and then becoming what do you say? Eating meat again. Yeah. But you were saying that there are only certain meats that you eat. Is that correct? Like you said, that it has to be grass fed, or it has to be like killed humanely or something like that.
So I will tell you.
And how do you control that? I'm just curious, like when you go out to eat.
When I first started eating meat again, I was, so how it actually went down was, I never finished that part of the story. So
I was like, wait, it's eating meat again.
Yeah, so after that happened, I started looking all this stuff up. I even woke up Ashley, the mother of my baby, and I said, look, I'm reading these things on third generation vegans. I really want you to take a look at this. Maybe, you should start thinking about incorporating some meat in your diet throughout this pregnancy process. She was like, Shane, please go back to sleep. I swear to God, like you go, it's fine. So anyway, when she left, I went to Sprouts and I went and bought a grass-fed steak. And I cooked it outside so nobody can smell it in the house. I mean, I basically snuck that steak.
You smuggled the steak in.
And when I went back to go do the blood test to see how my levels are going back up, she goes, wow. She goes, I stand corrected. She goes, what did you decide to do? And I said, I took the supplements. And she goes, all your levels are right back. And I go, you're going to be kidding me. And she goes, and I go, well, I didn't eat the supplements, I ate a steak. And she goes, I told you. And this is when she gave me one of the most profound messages that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. She goes, sometimes we get stuck in a dogma, in a group way of thinking, and we forget to listen to our greatest teacher, which is our body.
Right.
She goes, quit thinking about what does the group think, and allow your body to be your group. And such an important lesson to be able to take a step back from what society is telling you and to give your body, to go back into self-love is really, I mean, it's a big topic these days, of giving your body exactly what it needs. And so when after that happened, I'm like, you know what, I'm eating meat again. And I'm going to go public about it. I'm going to share my journey because I felt that it was important. Being a public figure with health and wellness in Las Vegas, I felt it would have been completely wrong for me to go through this transition and not make that public.
And plus, if you're out and someone walks in and sees you eating a porterhouse steak, they're gonna be like, so yes, you gotta say something.
Oh, that's not mine.
No, it's really important that you did that. Though.
Yeah, it was important. It was necessary.
Yes.
You know.
But when I went on this trip to LA right after that decision, and I found myself going to all these different restaurants, asking about how the meat was taken care of. I said, is this grass-fed? Is it organic? How was it raised from birth till death? Because these were the questions I was told that you can ask these at restaurants. And if the ones that pay special attention to that, they could say, no, this comes from this farm, this is how it got here, it didn't go through any factory farming. But I found myself becoming more compassionate, asking the questions, how is the animal being taken care of, instead of asking what kind of vegetables can you put on my plate. And then people sit around and go, man, and it was like, you know, are these free range, are these cage free? And so it definitely didn't make me less compassionate, it made me even more compassionate because now I'm really wondering how this animal was taken care of before I eat it, so I don't, you know, contribute to anything low vibration that I don't believe in. But I decided to go public with my whole thing. I even told my ex-girl at the time, I said, you know, this is about to get really hairy. I said, when I push this send button, it's going down. And she goes, you know what? She was my greatest support in that whole thing. She's like, you know, I'm with you no matter what. You're going to be okay. Go ahead and put your message out there.
Question really quickly: was she still vegan at the time? Or
Yeah, she's still vegan now.
She's still vegan now. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that speaks a lot about her character.
And that's where our child was retarded. Just kidding.
I cannot with you.
No, just
No.
kidding.
I cannot. Okay. Anyway. Go ahead.
No, she's healthy. But so I put it out there, and I said something like, "This is my journey. This is why I made these decisions." And I even said something like, sometimes with documentaries, we need to pay attention to where this information is coming from, because a lot of it can be very subjective, and we have to learn to pay attention to the signs within our bodies and other things instead of subscribing to this belief system that everyone's pushing down our throat.
Right.
And they went nuts, man. The first one, I can't believe it. You use this whole vegan thing to strip all the money away from vegans, whatever. I'm like, first of all,
First of all, no.
death threats to my baby.
Actual
That's
death
ridiculous.
threats.
Yeah.
To his
That
child.
was when I heard that. I was
Yeah.
like,
How do you do that?
I mean, so
But you say you're
Where's the
vegan.
yeah, and it's all about
Where is
the
the spirituality and all
animals and
that?
all that, and
Right. So you care more about the animals than people.
Yeah.
and their
obviously.
children.
And their children.
That
Unbelievable.
newborn
Yeah.
child.
So-
at that.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah,
no
but
voice.
anyway, we won't go into that. Well, not yet, but go ahead.
So I kept my mouth shut throughout the whole process. I never lashed back at anybody. I said, you know what? That's your opinion. I respect it. Thank you very much. And I mean, that's basically how I responded throughout the whole thing, and to where that became another way for them to mock me. Like, someone even made a video of them bashing me, and then him going, please, yes, I understand. I mean,
Wow, that's awesome though.
Yeah,
that they made
yeah.
a video of you.
Yeah. It did.
I mean, like the fact that you have that's how much impact you have that people
Even
are
Veggie
actually,
Nation,
right?
even Veggie Nation made a video
Really?
and mocked me throughout the whole process.
Oh, I can't go eat there again.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that.
Like, yeah, I'm just saying,
Why,
like,
Shane? Why would you?
No, I won't say that, but I will. I know that.
I was thinking
I can't
something
imagine
like,
Chef
oh.
Dunn having anything
He
to
did
do with
nothing to do
that.
with
I know, so that's why I will
Yeah.
continue to support because I know he didn't. I know
Yeah.
the spirit. Yeah. So, but anyway, that was, and then people were also saying, and this is just a testament of just if you stay on your path, then things will work out. Because a lot of people were also saying that they weren't going to support Panacea because
Yeah.
Panacea wasn't open at that time.
Oh no,
right?
they still on the vegan group.
But and they still say it. But the thing is that you don't need that. Like Panacea is so awesome anyway, and you have so much support anyway that it doesn't even you're winning. You
Yeah.
know, so it's just like it always works out. But if you hadn't stayed, like if you had backlash and other things, you may have lost some real support.
True support.
Right, exactly.
What I
with these other
did
ones.
was I cleared the way again for my
Mhm.
message. I felt like when I was a vegan, talking about a vegan diet, I felt like it was me just talking to other vegans, that my message was being narrowcasted instead of broadcasted to a wider audience.
Mhm.
So by me going through this process of detaching myself from that label and still opening up a vegan restaurant,
Mhm.
when people come into my restaurant, they will even say, oh my gosh, so is everything on this menu vegan? I said, we don't use the V word here. I said, it's all plant-based.
Plant-based.
And now my message has reached the mouths of meat eaters.
Mhm.
That meat eaters are coming in, and because they don't feel like they're being judged or they're not part of the group or under that label, that they can still come in and experience a good plant-based meal
Right.
for all the health benefits. And first and foremost, I know that plants are the greatest healers on the planet. Plants are, we were talking about plants being alive, they're very much alive as anything else. If not
Right.
even more alive, you look at the chlorophyll in greens, that has the same molecular structure as a human being's blood.
Mhm.
When there's some plants that can feel threatened in their environment and pull their roots right out of the ground and move to another spot.
Mhm.
We feel comfortable. We don't feel comfortable as vegans not eating anything with two eyes, a nose, and a mouth.
Mhm.
But there's other plants that can have a fly flying around,
Yeah.
Mm.
and it can fly and swallow that thing and digest it, just
Yeah.
like any other living
Right.
thing on the planet.
Right.
So I do believe that animals are not any more alive than a plant. I think everything shares the same life force, and it's
Sure.
always about intention and paying attention to our actions and making sure that we're not contributing to hurting the environment or hurting animals or hurting anything.
Mhm.
You can look at agriculture, big agriculture, and the way that they do factory farming with plants, destroying all kinds of crops
Mhm.
and water supplies and everything else. I mean, it's just being mindful
Yeah.
and really going back and supporting. Like, there's farmers out there that are doing their work by creating good, healthy, organic food. They may not be able to put the stamp of approval of organic because they're farmers. They didn't want to spend all their time in a cubicle on a typewriter with,
Right.
trying to work
Right.
with the FDA.
Mhm.
But if you go into the farmers markets, you meet the farmer, you know that your food's coming from a credible source. You can also go to
Right.
a farmer's market, know exactly where your meat's coming from.
Yeah.
You can even go to some of these farms and go tour around the facility and be like, yeah, this is the process we go through, and they'll take you through the whole thing. There's this farm in Mesquite where you can go and see exactly where your meat comes from and order that meat from the farm right to your doorstep
Yeah.
if you want to take those steps.
Right.
And, to each your own. I think that it's important to
Right.
not judge people along their journey.
Absolutely.
And
For
I
sure.
think it's too common with religion, with
Hmm.
any kind of groupthink, with any kind of ism that you put on anything, but with people don't subscribe to your same belief system, that they're not a part of us.
Right.
And
The judgment starts.
the judgment starts. And that's not why I got into this to begin with. I saw a lady named Dr. Cynthia that built this hospital that was bringing over these refugees, that there was no judgment. There was no judgment on who she was bringing over. She was just saving a life.
Mhm.
And for me, that's where I want my message to be. I don't want to pat somebody on the back for doing a good job and tell someone else or, they could be doing better. And that's what Panacea is about. And the course and my belief system on healing has completely changed, because I used to think that it's the food that we put in our mouths that makes us a healthier person. But now I realize that you could be the healthiest person on the planet, sit in front of your television, eating kale chips, hating the TV because Donald Trump's your president. How
Right.
can this happen? And have the most acidic environment you could
Yeah.
possibly think of.
An acidic body.
An
Yeah.
acidic body.
Mhm.
And
So-
that's again that connection between health and spirituality.
Spirituality,
Exactly.
absolutely.
And I think first, you heal the soul,
Yeah.
the soul heals the mind, and the mind heals the body, and
Mm-hmm.
then food is an afterthought. It's just the loving thoughts that we put into ourselves after we fall in love with this machine all over again,
Mm-hmm.
and we fall in love with our temple. And so once you really fall in love, and that's why I think that we eat within our alignment, that we eat with how we think about ourselves inside.
Mm.
And
wow.
why
That's
would we
interesting.
want to put anything less than the best
And
if we are so in love with ourselves? we
Right,
can't
exactly.
possibly think it.
Yeah.
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 That's
Wow.
it, yeah. Those are all beautiful statements.
Yes.
And also true, and also why this was a topic that we wanted to bring to the forefront so that people who are listening like really understand that it is a journey, like
Mhm.
eating not only health and wellness but also the spirituality of it.
Right.
Like, you know, that having that cleanse within yourself
Mhm.
is sometimes better than, you know, a detox cleanse or the cabbage soup or
Right,
the, whatever
exactly.
the food, you know, niche or fad is out there that, you know, you can change, you know, what you're eating, and it can even possibly change your outer, but how are you doing inside, right? Like, what is that work? What are you doing each day for that work? And so, you know, that's a question also, like, you know, you were so focused on the healthy and the eating the raw and the food, but I know you're also into spirituality as far as away from that. And like, what are some tips or what are some things that you do, you know, that also has to do with the inner shame?
Yeah, I think it's very important to have practice every single morning.
Okay.
I think that to wake up and to go start right on autopilot and put your shoes on and start your day is a major disservice. To really tap into.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Seriously, because I used to do that and now I
Yeah.
don't, and I
Yeah.
see the difference in my life.
Yeah, for me to
Absolutely.
wake up and do a meditation and do some affirmations and read, 20 pages in a book that fills my mind and heart and soul with exactly what it needs is the best way to start your day, and to live your life with intention, to live your life with purpose. And all that falls into spirituality. As soon as you start going for, first of all, quit lying to yourself. If there's something inside of you that's telling you you should be doing something else, and you're latched onto your job or material things, or scared of losing that nice car, it's going to be pretty hard to find that to allow that inner voice to come through as loud as as loud as it can. Sorry, it's pretty hard. I lost my train of thought. It's better if you fall within your alignment to allow your passions to come through. Spirituality will just follow.
Right.
That
Yeah, for sure.
spirituality for so many people means so many different things. I mean, I remember yesterday, this girl was, we're doing this nonprofit fundraiser at Panacea for the kids in Peru, and it's all coming from a Christian dominant, mission work.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that language doesn't resonate with me so well when it comes from an organized religion perspective. But if I can take a step back and really listen to what they're saying, it's like,
Yeah.
oh wait a minute, we're all talking about the same thing.
Exactly.
Right.
When they're talking about God, well, I'm talking about source. When they're talking
Well,
about,
Jesus,
Yeah.
we were talking about
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for my practice, it's just paying attention to how I love, how I receive love. What do I do? What my career path is? Am I in alignment with my career path? And the relationships that I have around me. They say that you vibe with your tribe, or your vibe attracts your tribe. It's important to have the most amazing group of people that keep you inspired,
Mm-hmm.
that are also within your alignment. But yeah, that's that. And take time for yourself and get out in nature.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so important.
Yeah.
So you said meditation
Yeah.
is a huge thing, and I know I think we all meditate, right? That's something that
Yes,
we all
I need
find.
to, this year is my goal to do just that and incorporate it into every day.
Yes.
Because I don't do it every day, and I need to.
No, and it's okay. And even people listening now probably are like, "What is meditation?" Or
Right.
or maybe have tried it and
We'll
are
do
just like
another
you.
podcast about that.
Yeah, but but it just shows that we're all human and that we know. when I found meditation, like really got into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like even this morning when I did it, and I wake up and every time I go back from it, I'm like, I really left. Like I really found myself. I really went to a deeper part of myself just for that short, it was a shorter one, but it was still that moment. And every time I would come from it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm back. Like,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and so I think it's very important that people who are listening just know that. I know it's the new year, right? That was what we were talking about. The New Year's resolution is always like, I'm going to eat right and I'm going to get into the gym, and like that's fantastic, but also look into other ways of like.
Healing
yourself.
Definitely.
Like try meditation, try it for a bit. There's so many different ways. I use YouTube. YouTube is my friend. YouTube is my best friend. From workouts to meditation to just inspirational videos, whatever it is, like and it's free. And so you don't always have to go spend your arm and your leg to go be part of a gym or now go and buy these things. Just start off slow and just see what's out there, and then as you grow and as you learn what you like and don't like, then if you want to invest some money into it.
You can do that. And you use YouTube for your meditation too as well.
I do. I use YouTube, and then sometimes
nice.
I'll pull up like when Oprah and Deepak Chopra have their 21-day meditation. Have you all listened to that?
I've listened to, you've sent me a couple of those.
Okay.
My meditation has always been transcendental meditation.
Oh,
so I've
okay.
never
Gotcha.
used outside sources, so that was good.
That's a good one. So they do it.
Send me these
I
things.
will. So as soon as they do another one, they don't do them. They're not all the time. They're like, I think they're every quarter.
Oh, okay.
And they're amazing. And so I'll usually do those when those come around, and I may, do those.
So Oprah has one as well?
Oprah and Deepak they have one
Together.
And it's 21 days of different meditations about specific, like the last one I think was about hope or finding hope. And so they did different things of hope and, for 21 days, different like meditations.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool.
And that's all available just on YouTube?
It's free. Yeah.
Wow.
We'll pull it up after the
Yeah.
podcast. I'll pull it up for you, the last one that they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We can even maybe show it on our Instagram.
Yes.
At Simply Put Radio if you guys aren't following yet. Little plug, hey.
But let me just change the conversation for just a second.
Sure.
We'll kind of go into a different direction. So you do eat meat now, going back to Shane. So you do eat meat now, but you chose to open a plant-based restaurant that does not serve meat.
Right.
So what was your choice? What was your main reason behind that decision?
Because I believe that for the most part, our meat consumption should be limited to maybe 2 to 3 times a month, and that plants need to be more celebrated, especially within the brick and mortar food industry. And there's not a lot of choices here in Las Vegas to get high quality, good vegan food. I mean, Simply Pure, boom, you got this area covered. I had to go get the Summerlin area covered, but I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, not saying that this is where Panacea is going, but if I ever found something that was in alignment with my own belief system, where I knew exactly where this meat was coming from, believe me, I tried. With opening Panacea, I went to all these different food distributors and even toured the facilities, and the only thing that I could get that would be the integrity of meat that I was looking for is wild game.
Yeah.
So boar and geese and antelope and stuff like that, which is a little strange for people.
That's what I miss
We've
about
never had
Tennessee.
an antelope.
That's what I miss about Tennessee, because you did have, like you said, you had all the farms that were right there, very close to you, and so you knew exactly the history of the meat,
Right.
the animal, all the way to your plate. It was very easy for that, and also all of your fruits and vegetables too. I studied genetically engineered plants in school, and learning about like tomatoes being genetically engineered. It's like, oh my gosh, are they messing with our fruits and vegetables like this?
Yeah.
So it was just, I missed that part of being there, just having all of that accessible, just right there for everything.
It's a little more
It's a little bit
challenging here.
challenging here, yeah.
It is. We don't have this many like farmers markets.
Would you say, like, this has been my experience, and so I'm getting like, and I trust all of your opinions. So I would like to know, since you've incorporated like more spiritual meditation type of things, do you notice that it changes even like your day as far as like how much rest you get, how much you eat a day? I don't know. For me, I realize like I'm not as hungry as much, and I work out very intensely. I'm up, I run a business, do all these things, and I just don't feel like I'm like always, my body's not always craving or wanting food as much. And I get hungry, of course, I am human, so I do need that to fuel and energize. But do you guys ever notice or ever
I don't think I have, only because it's been so gradual that I don't think I ever saw, like, it was never like a major change. It's always been like a consistency, you know, so it's just like, it's hard to measure that when it's super consistent. But I will say, if I, you know, take bits and pieces of my life 20 years ago when I totally wasn't into meditation and spirituality and look at it now, I'd say that I just feel so much better. That's the thing, you know, and so, and that's in all aspects, in the way I eat, in the way that I sleep, in the way that I everything, you know, and so I will say that, yeah, there's been a change. It's been hard to kind of, you know, just, it was gradual, like I said, so, yeah, for me, that's.
Yeah, I think that meditation makes you more mindful. So,
absolutely.
So as you become more mindful, you're, like we talked about, you're not less likely to be on autopilot, or you're paying attention. Like a lot of the times when we're thirsty, when we're actually thirsty or we need water, we think we're hungry.
Yeah.
So we'll start eating food, but you just become more present and aware, and with what comes out of your mouth, with what you're eating, with everything else. And meditation plays into a role of just keeping you more present in your body.
Yeah, and it helped me just center myself. Doing that first thing in the morning before I started my day, it just helped me make it through the day.
Right, for
in
sure.
the challenging environment that I was in at the time, it was just very, very helpful.
Yeah, it's just something I've noticed, you know, and like you said, it's more mindful. Like even with that, sometimes I like get hungry and I'm like, wait, am I thirsty or am I hungry? And so I'll drink water, wait like 30 minutes or 20 minutes, and then I'll still feel hungry.
But
I'm
if
like,
you're
okay, I'm
if
hungry.
you're not in tune, you will just go and eat something, and then you'll be dehydrated because you weren't in tune in the first place. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I also think it's important to find a spiritual practice outside of meditation that resonates with you. Because that's where you vibe with your tribe. Like if for me, I love to go to the drum circles. I love to go to these singing bowl where they do
the Tibetan bowls?
No, yeah, where they do the medicine music and the sound therapy, and I really resonate with that group. Although, you know, looking at them and me, I mean, they walk along with little bees with the little dots on their head and everything else, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, what's up, bro? But I can still be myself. But regardless of what practice it is that you resonate, even if it's going and enjoying a yoga class or something, connecting with like-minded people that share your experience is super important.
Yeah,
definitely connecting with people.
And you make a good point too, that meditation is not, it's spiritual, but it's not like a religion. It's more, again, it's something for yourself. And so that you can be anything. You can be Catholic, you can be Jewish, you can be any type of religionism, as you said earlier. And, you know, it's not about that. It's about finding that peace within. So that's a good point to make too. Because I think people get, you know, I don't know, maybe confused that meditation has to do more with like Buddhism or you know those types, you know, Hinduism or those type of religions that are actual religions, and it's not. It's about sitting down and just finding peace within you. And so you can believe in God, you can believe in 10 gods. It's just about you.
Believe in something.
Yeah,
absolutely,
having that faith. And I know that Stacey's very, you know, she always speaks on that, like how her faith guides her, and you know, she goes
I did
with
a post
that.
about it yesterday, actually. Woke up in the morning, felt the spirit, went ahead, and
What was your post about?
it was about putting a grind behind your prayer. A lot of people pray, then they just pray, and then they stay the same. And so it said you got to put some grind behind that prayer. And then I just kind of went into how I don't pray in the traditional sense of prayer. Like I don't pray every night, get on my knees or you know. And the reason why I don't do that is because I just don't feel like it's necessary. Like I don't feel like I need to ask God over and over, or the universe, or whatever. I ask for what I want once, and then I just keep it moving, and I move in the direction that feels good. And so that comes more from not prayer, but like meditation. So you align, and then you grind. Like you align yourself, and then you work. And then it doesn't feel like work. So when you were talking about
Did you
not
come up
feeling
with that? Align and then you
align. I came up with that. I
On
know.
social media.
Align and grind. That's what I said.
Because
Because then it becomes a different kind of work. You know, like for example, prime example. Me and Bikini have been working our, I'm sorry, Martin, asses off over the past.
And now it's rated R.
Right.
I will mark that later on.
over the past, like we always work, but we really had to put in some work because we've been, thank God, consistently busy at the restaurant, but also we lost one of our employees just quit suddenly. And so we kind of had to fill in, but then we have catering, so we've just been doing like overtime. Right,
Yeah.
it's been a lot. And so, and I've been working like I'm working open to close, and but I'm not tired because I'm aligned. You know,
Right.
most people even my employees, one of my employees was like, "Aren't you tired? You've been here open to close for like 2 days straight." And I'm like, "Girl, I did this when I was pregnant." Like, I really did, you know, but that's because when you're aligned, it doesn't feel like work, you know, that. It's work, like, you know, you feel it in your body. I can't wait to go and get our massage tomorrow. But, yeah, you align first, and so it's so important.
I thought that was a major flaw when that movie came out, The Secret. And
it's interesting, yeah.
you do your
The
visual.
movie.
What movie?
The Secret. That film.
I've heard about this movie and I've never seen it. So please, yes, tell me.
Oh,
I'm not familiar.
Neither one of you guys have seen
No.
The Secret? Whoa,
It
yeah.
really had to do with the fact that you could manifest something by thinking about it and smelling the car,
Yes.
and then the bike.
Right.
Like if you want it, the bike will just appear right at your front door,
Mhm.
and it missed the grind part. Like I
Mhm.
do think that when you do, because I also do with my affirmations in the morning, a manifestation exercise for 5 minutes of all the things that I want and thanking God as if I already have them. So thank you, God, for the success of Panacea. Thank you, God, for these amazing relationships. Thank you, God, for allowing me to travel all over the world. But at the same time, you have to move in that direction. So, and I think that does get the wheels turning of the grind.
Mhm.
But sometimes people forget, like it takes, they don't see all the push-ups. You know, they just see
Yeah.
the body,
Mhm.
and they go, you know, you're so blessed, and like, dude, you know how hard that had to work to get this.
Yeah,
far.
exactly, yeah.
And yeah, and that's a big part. I think even with spirituality is putting in the hard work and reaping the rewards at the end. To go at the when you get to the top of the mountain, you look down and go, damn, I did that,
Mhm.
and it fills your heart up with every kind of emotion, love, everything that especially giving you fuel for the next journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that. Align and grind.
Align and grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you heard it here first. When it becomes the big, you know.
So I guess I don't know if you guys want to start closing up, but what would kind of be like your last, words of wisdom, or even just kind of what do you want to leave our listeners with,
Yeah.
regarding our topic today with health and spirituality?
Well,
Especially for someone who may be struggling with that right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I feel like a lot of people are.
Yeah,
yeah.
Even like, and this is perfect too because like you said, it's the beginning of the year, so everybody they're making New Year's resolutions, and it's important for people to not make the resolution based on the fact that they feel torn about it, because then it won't work out. And
Or
so,
doing it just because that's what society tells you.
tells you
they
to
should
do. Oh, I
do.
gotta
That's
eat
what the
healthy.
masses
I
are
gotta do.
doing.
Oh, I can't
Right.
even.
I gotta go join the gym.
Right,
you know.
exactly, because then you don't really get the results. So anyway, I say all that to say that.
I had so this is what I would close with, that we all live with a level of cognitive dissonance, that what we want on the inside doesn't always match what we do on the outside. And we have to remember that, just like a bank account, you can't keep making withdrawals without making a deposit. And so you have to allow yourself the space to make mistakes. You have to allow yourself the space to have setbacks, and give yourself a pat on the back to say, you know what, I'm going to try again. And so many times I think that people stop in the middle of achieving a goal or a resolution because they made a mistake of not following through one day, and all of a sudden it disrupts their whole pattern and they never do it again.
Right.
You just have to get up and do it again.
Mhm.
And
again.
and again.
And again. And again.
Yeah. And one of the things that did happen when I came out and told everybody that I was no longer vegan is everyone saw the bad messages that were flying on my page, but no one could see the private messages that were coming to my personal email.
Mhm.
And I got so many thank yous of people, like for instance, one lady said, I've been a vegan for 16 years and I have leaky gut, and my homeopathic doctor told me to use bone broth to help seal up my gut, but I couldn't allow myself to do it. And she goes, and I'm so disappointed in myself that I never allowed myself to go there, to give myself enough love to listen to a doctor that was trying to give me a cure. Instead, I'm allowing myself to go through this condition. I had another lady that told me she had a thyroid issue, and that her, and that she was trying to eat all the different omega-3s and take all these different supplements. And I told her, I said, go eat some sardines. And she goes, no way in the hell am I gonna eat sardines? And I go, listen, you're worth it. I go, you're worth it. It's worth it for your children, your husband, for you. I go, what if the sardines work? And because they had the highest level of omega-3s that you could possibly get, substantially more than flaxseed or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me up 2 weeks later and crying, and she goes, oh my God, my memory's coming back. I can't believe it. And I said, don't forget to love yourself, regardless. And I think that's the most important thing. It's like, as we move into 2018, that to be able to look inside of a mirror, to look into a mirror and say, I love you, and really mean it. Because I honestly believe that the issues with the world are not eating meat or destroying our oceans or anything like that. I think the number one issue is that we don't love ourselves enough. And I think if the whole entire world at the same time looked into their own heart and said, I loved you, and really meant it, that the oceans would begin to heal, that the factory farms would disappear. And so really this year, they call it the year 2015, or 2016 was the caterpillar, 2017 was the cocoon, and 2018 is the butterfly. And I think that we are going on this beautiful shift all at the same time, some more aware than others, but we're going through this shift at the exact same time, and all of us are sharing in this experience. And you want to be sitting on the front row of the roller coaster as this shift is going down, then you have to jump on the self-love train. And that's, to me, what it's all about.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so true, and it's a beautiful message.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. We
You're
so
welcome.
appreciate you coming. I know that you and Stacey have been friends, what, how long?
Oh my gosh.
83 years, man.
Wow.
8 years?
83 years.
83
This
years.
is what loving yourself will do.
Yes.
8 years.
I think it's been 8
Oh,
years.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes. And Bikini, I know you've known Shane for a while as well.
Yeah,
And-
thank you, Stacey.
Yep. And then I've known Shane as well for a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're all friends here, and just be able to just get together like this and share a message that we all believe in, and then now share it to the world, right?
Yeah.
Because the podcast is available wherever you are. So it's online at simplyputradio.com. So we appreciate you, Shane, and sharing your message and your story. I've heard that story before, but really to get it out there and just showing people, what a journey looks like from beginning until you're still on the journey, but
Yeah.
it's really cool.
And then also everybody make sure you support Panacea.
Absolutely.
Panacea, the plant-based, Shane's plant-based restaurant is inside of Boca Park. It's amazing. I haven't been in a minute now, but
Did you go with Keith?
we've all
Definitely.
been.
Okay, yeah,
But I need to go.
Definitely
get
been
a
working
burger.
so much.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've been working.
Burger.
We just got a liquor license,
Oh, they just got a liquor
wow.
license. Yeah, so now you can get.
kombucha beer. We have we have a variety of different sakes. We have sake cocktails. We have
Ooh,
Joe,
okay.
which is organic tea and raw honey that's been fermented to 5.6 alcohol, so it's the same as a beer.
What?
And this is sake?
It is
this
warm?
is Jun,
That's
which is
Jun.
Oh, John.
Jun, just like kombucha, but different kind of SCOBY.
Oh.
And it's
Oh
on tap,
my
which is
gosh.
awesome. And then we have all kinds of vegan organic wines and organic beer.
And what time are you open today?
Right.
And my plans for today.
So
and,
drink
that's
that
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just follow you. Well,
That's
that's very
awesome.
cool. And you are
Yes.
open 7 days a week, correct?
Yes.
Okay, very cool.
And what are your hours?
Yes.
Our hours are 7 days a week from 9:30 to 10:30 at night.
Awesome.
Inside Boca
Perfect.
Park, Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and what's your social media handle?
Social media is Panacea Vegas.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And what is your personal, if you don't mind sharing?
Raw mixologist.
Raw mixologist.
Which
Very
is-
cool.
I
Which
love it.
I gave him that name.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay,
Yeah.
well that's
I
where
love
the
it.
name was born. So if you are listening and you're in Vegas, Vegas, make sure to check out Panacea out in Boca Park. If you're visiting Vegas, you're not here in Vegas, make sure to make that one of your stops when you're coming to town. Before we close out, we always ask our guests 3 questions. Each of us asks a question, kind of go back into the physical, mental, and spiritual. Something just really fun to kind of take the, just get an answer, get your opinion.
Okay.
So I'll start it off this time with the physical. Your favorite, so this is the question, your favorite way to get in a workout. Now we're going to give you 3 options. So your favorite way to get in a good workout, is it A, the gym, B, the bedroom, or C, an outdoor activity?
Well,
And you have to be quick.
yeah,
First
I would be
answer.
lying if I didn't say the bedroom.
He's like, I don't know the answer to this one. That's usually the popular answer for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best.
So, right, spiritual,
Right.
physical,
Yeah.
it kind of covers
Right.
all the
So
bases.
everything.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. And sleep. Just saying.
Right.
At the end, of course.
Every-
Sorry, not during.
Not
That would be
during.
as fun. That wouldn't be as fun.
Perfect. And then the mental question: when you're having a bad day, who do you look to for clarity? Would that be your higher power, higher faith? Would that be mom or parent? Or would that be Instagram?
Higher power.
Higher power.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. And last, who would you look to? Don't look at my question.
Okay.
Who would you look to as a spiritual guide for clarity or focus? Is it A, Oprah Winfrey, B, Kevin Hart, C, Warren Buffett?
Oprah.
All right.
How about that?
Oh,
There you
nice.
go.
So quick with the answers.
Yeah. Very cool.
Very cool. Well, that's it. That concludes our 3rd episode, everyone. SimplyPutRadio.com, at SimplyPutRadio are the social media handles. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. And we look forward to hearing your feedback on our comments on our Instagram, social media. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a good day.